Hey, what's up guys? In this video, we'll take a deep look into Peter Thiel's portfolio. And also, I would like to welcome you guys to the Watch Investing channel where I try my best to make finance and investing fun, unlike those boring old YouTubers. So welcome and hope you enjoyed the video. First of all, let us start with a little bio on Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is a German-American billionaire entrepreneur and venture capitalist. He's the co-founder of PayPal, Palantir Technologies, and Founders Fund, a venture capital firm. He's also the first outside investor on Facebook. He is also on the Forbes Midas list because whatever he invests in turns into gold, or maybe he just invests into companies that are already gold because he's good at finding those companies. His current net worth, as estimated by Forbes in 2021, it is $4.9 billion. According to an article written by Quartz in 2019, Peter Thiel has made around 116 investments so far, and therefore it would be crazy to cover all of his investments. Instead, it is better to follow the 80-20 rule, where some of your investments, some of your actions make up most of your results. So in this video, we will just cover his top holdings, and we'll start off with his least interesting holdings to the interesting holding that you guys all came here for. Now let us dive in and take a deep look at Peter Thiel's portfolio. This chart by the Bloomberg Billionaires Index shows Peter Thiel's top holding. As you can see in this chart, Peter Thiel has 3 million in Facebook, 52 million in Compass Pathways, 1,400 million in Founders Fund, 1,900 million in cash and investments, and 2,000 million in Palantir. So the first holding in Peter Thiel's portfolio that we're gonna talk about is Facebook. And I know I said the first holding that we're going to talk about is boring, but in my opinion, I think that this is also a very interesting story. So in 2004, Peter Thiel was an angel investor, and he was the first outside investor of Facebook, and he bought 10% of Facebook for only $500,000. And over the course of this whole time period from then, he has sold his stake for about $1 billion. And so it is amazing because Peter Thiel used to own 10% of Facebook stock, and imagine if he held onto that stock. So Peter Thiel only owns about 9,984 shares of Facebook now, which equates to around $3 million holding in Facebook. So that's the first holding that we're going to talk about in Peter Thiel's portfolio. Second holding in Peter Thiel's portfolio that we're going to talk about is Compass Pathways. Compass Pathways is a mental health care company dedicated to accelerating patients to evidence-based innovations in mental health care. Their first program is researching on how psilocybin therapy could help patients with treatment-resistant depression. Basically, they provide treatments that are lab-tested and medically approved to mental health patients. The current share price of Compass Pathways is $35.80, and since its IPO last year around September 2020, it has returned 321%. And so in a span of just around 7 months, it has returned that much, which is a huge amount. And the next biggest holding in Peter Thiel's portfolio is his venture capital firm called Founders Fund. Since its inception on July 1st, 2005, it has raised around $3.45 billion. The fund currently has $2 billion in assets under management. The fund invests in different sectors such as artificial intelligence, advanced computing, and the energy sector. Founders Fund has invested in some very highly successful ventures, such as SpaceX, with an investment worth $500 million in 2016. Just in case some of you do not know, SpaceX is an aerospace manufacturing and delivery service company. Currently has like a several billion-dollar deal with NASA to deliver its goods from Earth to the space station. And this company is owned by Elon Musk, and you know how well Elon Musk is able to operate his company and grow his company. So SpaceX is gonna be another one of Peter Thiel's best successful investments. Another notable investment by the Founders Fund is their investment into Airbnb, a peer-to-peer rental firm. Airbnb allows people to rent out their extra living spaces, and the living spaces rented out on Airbnb exist in around 100,000 cities and over 220 countries. Over 800 million people have used Airbnb, and there seems to be no big competitor to Airbnb, surprisingly. The next biggest holding in Peter Thiel's portfolio is cash and other investments. So Peter Thiel has a lot of cash that he can deploy to make large investments into certain companies. Other investments made by Peter Thiel, for example, is a $145 million investment into a health insurance company called Oscar. Oscar uses technology and data to help people purchase health insurance. Another investment made by Peter Thiel is a $225 million investment into Avent, a firm that uses technology to improve the loan application process for their customers. And last but not least, the holding in Peter Thiel's portfolio that is the most interesting and the one that you all came here for is Palantir. Palantir was co-founded by Peter Thiel in 2003. In 2014, Peter Thiel was estimated to be the largest shareholder in Palantir. Before the offering in 2020, Peter Thiel and his funds are estimated to own around 17.7% of the company. His investment firms include Founders Fund, Clarion Capital, and Mithril Capital. So it's pretty interesting how he utilizes his investment firms to invest into his own company to provide funds for his own company, but it actually has profited his fund. Forbes has estimated that his direct ownership of the company is around 8% through his direct investments and through his investment firms. Palantir is a data analyst company that provides data analysis software to both private companies and government agencies. Palantir's solution has a two-step process. The first step process is an infrastructure for companies to store and secure large amount of data. The second step process is that the software allows these companies and government agencies to perform complex analytics. So with this software, Palantir is able to serve various clients such as the banking sector, such as Credit Suisse AG, and even government agencies like the CIA to help track and identify terrorist suspects. Before the IPO, Peter Thiel and his investment firms were estimated to have around 330 million shares of Palantir. So here are my final thoughts. I think that Palantir is a great buy. We have a co-founder who is Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is an experienced CEO who has a track record of building successful long-term businesses. He built PayPal, a business that has lasted for a long time and is worth multi-billion of dollars. He also has experience investing into the best companies. He's here to have a Midas touch, where the companies that he invests to turns into gold, or they are gold. And therefore, Peter Thiel definitely has used his expertise in both of these areas to create an excellent business with a great business model, and it's also well funded. Peter Thiel still believes in his company and 8% of his portfolio is made up of Palantir. And if many billionaires and investors believe in it, I believe that so can you. Another takeaway that we can take from Peter Thiel's portfolio is that he made most of his money, that his portfolio mainly consists of technology companies that are disrupting variety of industry, from healthcare to data analytics to insurance. Therefore, I think we should pay more attention to tech stocks. And if we want to learn from the best, we can replicate them and pay attention to tech stocks more. I don't know about you, but I pay a lot of attention to tech stocks. So if you want to learn more about the stock market and receive more stock market analysis, click that subscribe button.